Hello. Today we have Corey Zinck, the fire chief of the Oakhill Fire Department with us. Welcome, Corey.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here, Ryan.
I guess to get things started, how long have you been with the fire department?
I've been in the fire service since '96 or so, and I've been in Oakhill, this current department, since 2003. So I started off actually in one of our neighboring departments in Day Springs, a junior, and got involved there. I actually lived right across from the fire hall.
Oh, really?
So I remember from a young age hearing the trucks go, and some of the people I went to school with actually joined in as well as it's a junior program, and that's where it all started.
Okay. Now, how long have you been chief in Oakhill?
I've been chief here for 6 years. I actually had to look that up because I couldn't remember. So, yeah, 6 years here.
Yes, sir.
So,
was there anything other than what you mentioned already that drew you to joining the department initially, or?
really, it was just the close proximity, and a few other friends of mine had joined as a junior in the junior program, and got into it there. And really, once I was in there, I was kind of hooked.
Okay.
So progressed through the junior program into the senior ranks, and then relocated here back to Oakhill in 2003, 2001, 2003. I'd have to look right around there.
Okay. Throughout the years, what has been your favorite memory with the department?
I think a couple things from my perspective. You always remember the good calls, where I don't say the good saves. And I've got a few of those that stick into my mind where the OCOM really wasn't that great. It was a high stress environment. The stakes were pretty high, and actually the OCOM was much better than we anticipated. And being able to, just because of the community it was in our district, every few weeks I get to happen to see the individuals that were involved in that call and just see them grow and continue through their lives. So that's what sticks with me, the biggest thing. I mean, as well as the camaraderie that you see between departments and between your members, and being able to act somewhat as a family, and make the larger family in terms of larger fire service family. Those are my biggest memories that I've taken so far since I've been in the service. So
okay. Let's move on to Oakhill itself. Tell me a little bit about the community.
So we border on the town of Bridgewater, which is obviously the bigger population area around here. We cover roughly around 27, 28 square kilometers. So kilometers wise, a relatively small district.
Yep.
We service roughly 550 to 600 addresses, which is primarily a rural residential. We do have a few, I'd say, light industrial areas, recycling center, fabrication shops, that kind of stuff, and a few smaller commercial entities, a golf course, which is a little unique for us, as well as some commercial equipment dealers. So it's a pretty steady group of population that doesn't really deviate that much. The biggest thing that we see more so in the summertime for us is the amount of traffic we have coming through the 103, which actually cuts our district in half. So
Yeah.
We see a little bit of an increased volume through there in the summer times, but that's really what the community is mostly about. Our district, because of the fact that it outlies the town of Bridgewater, we tend to have a much younger demographic in terms of our residents.
Yep.
And the age of our buildings. We do not have a huge amount of buildings that are 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. Most of our houses are new construction in the last 20, 30 years. So our district has grown quite a bit because of our proximity. And that's actually helped us with our recruitment and retention of our members, because we have a younger demographic that we need in the service, because the more senior people are getting to the retirement age. But it's also a challenge for us because that younger demographics generally has more demands on family life, professional life, kids, all that stuff. So it's a double-edged sword. It helps us in some cases when we can get them here and get them engaged, and then hurts us sometimes on the recruitment side to get them in here and convinced to show up. So
yeah, exactly. I guess the fire department itself, what is the size of your department?
So we right now have 25 active members on the fire service side. We also have a pretty strong fundraising side on the opposite side of the station for our bingos, and before, obviously pre-pandemic catering and events like that kind of stuff, because that really changed the landscape for us. We operate out of one station on Wannock Settlement, and we've been here since '74. So we are primarily 100% volunteer. We don't have any paid or paid on-call positions. And we roll pre-pandemic, we were doing 110 to 120 calls a year.
Wow.
In the middle of what we're in now with medical calls basically falling off, we're on pace for an 80 to 85 call volume year.
Okay.
So
Now, what's the greatest challenge your department currently faces?
For us, and I'm sure it is for any other volunteer service out there, and it's probably no news to you or anybody else who's going to watch or listen to this, is recruitment retention. That's the big thing for everybody now. We have, because of our demographics I spoke of earlier, we have not been in the situation that I've seen other departments in Nova Scotia in, because we have that demographics we can pull from and the growing of the community. And then we've also done some stuff differently with our membership in terms of how we do social events. So back in the day, you used to have the one banquet a year, and that was your time to get people together. And we would do the banquets, but we do much more informal events. So we would do a department wing night for the members and their families, barbecue for our members, as well as we would invite our neighboring departments to bring their families over, just to get those kind of things so that people can get out and do some socialization in a good setting, yes, instead of always being pulled away for training and calls and all that other stuff. Exactly. And that's really, I mean, our corn boil, we've had, I'm gonna say 4 or 5 years in a row now. We get between 60 and 80 people for that. So for us, it's been pretty successful. Would we take more? Of course I would. I mean, who wouldn't? And we're trying some different things to try and get some more people in. And because of the amount of turnover we have in houses selling in our district, we're trying to do a mail out now to every time a property sells to the new residents to explain who we are, what we do. Nice. Are you interested in volunteering in active service, or are there other skills you can try and provide? But that's our biggest hurdle right now. Okay.
Do you find you have a lot of turnover, whereas someone might join and realize how big of a commitment it is? And
we haven't lately. I would say about 6 or 7 years ago, we changed how we did our recruitment for applicants. Before it was basically, here's a page of paper, put your name, your phone number on, congratulations, you're in. Yeah. We changed that quite a bit to a more lengthy process involving interviews with the candidate, interview with references, and really, we have lost some applicants in that early stage because we've said, listen, this is what the commitment is, and we're not trying to scare you, but we want to make sure that you're aware that this isn't, an hour a month. There's a big commitment for this. And if you're on board, we're more than willing to put you through it. But if you're not, now's the time to tell us that, because we don't want to waste their time. We don't want to waste our time. Turnout gear is expensive. All that stuff training's expensive. It's just a waste if they don't want to get into it from the beginning. So yeah. We've been pretty successful. I would say probably 90% of our members have retained in the last 7, 8 years, if not more. Yeah. So it's been pretty successful that way.
Yeah, no, that's good.
But there's more to do. I would take more. So if anybody out there is watching this around our district, contact us for an application.
Exactly. I guess changing over to the truck side of things, how many trucks do you currently have in your fleet?
So right now we've got 3 large apparatus. We've got an international rescue pumper, Spartan pumper tanker, a snorkel. We've got a pickup truck, which we've got Fab as a light rescue, and then our Gator side-by-side for off-road.
Okay. What's the main challenges you face in regards to the trucks and equipment?
Our biggest thing is the changing in terms of truck responsibilities in the last 10, 15 years, because I've been involved in every truck that we've brought in that exists currently in the fleet. And if I look at when we brought our 2012 rescue pumper in, that was a change in thought process, because back in the day, it always was a pumper, a tanker, and a walk-in rescue, and this was this, and this was this, and this was this. There was no crossover. So for us, the biggest challenge is how do you make the apparatus good at specifics, covering enough things to make it a valuable piece of apparatus without doing nothing well. Because I'm starting to see more and more trucks just on the publications that it's a huge truck. It does everything, but does nothing well.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. And particularly with the cost of apparatus now, you need to be smart with it and make sure you're doing something that meets your current needs and without a lot of money can evolve to meet the next step or the next 2 steps down the road of where your department, your membership may evolve.
Yeah. Yes, sir. What has been your experience with Metal Fab over the years?
So for us, our experience with Metal Fab has been pretty spectacular. Obviously, because I've got 4 of them had purchased 4 of them, 3 of them still here. And the other one is still in active service with a neighboring department for us. So that's been really good. And they've had no issues with it at all. So for us with Metal Fab, we have the ability to do a high degree of customization, which is not something that is easily achieved with other competitors. The other thing is that ability to customize is value added, not just from the ability to do it, but cost effectiveness.
Yes.
Because anybody can do anything, you're going to pay for it. And when we did competitive bids on a couple of our trucks for the degree of customization, the degree of customization was really high and the price point was actually quite competitive. It was actually lower than some of the big names. So we really love that ability. We also like the fact that it's local. For us, it's local. We can pick up the phone and make a phone call. We need to talk to Gordon. We can talk to Gordon. It's not, not hidden behind the door. Gordon's not available anytime, and these are our channels. So for us, it's been really beneficial for that. Actually, I was talking about this with somebody a few weeks ago. I think I've probably made the trip to Metal Fab. I think I'm almost 20 times in the last 10 years, which is good because you have the ability to go up, talk, touch, feel, see in mid-production. And you know what? It's a 6-hour drive there and a 6-hour drive back. But we've caught a few little things that made the drive worth it. And it's been that level of detail and customer service that has made it a huge value for us, to the point that, our last one, our 2 trucks ago, we didn't bother anywhere else for competitive bid because we knew where we were going. We knew what the price point was going to be. And when our next one goes, it'll be the same decision. So we've been extremely pleased with it. And even when things don't go well in terms of follow-up for a defect, it gets corrected in a very timely and professional manner. So we've been really happy with the service from Metal Fab.
That's great to hear. What year was the first Metal Fab truck you purchased?
We purchased an 05 International.
Yes, the single axle tanker pumper.
Single axle, little pumper tanker, 1050, 1,000 gallons of water.
Yeah. You mentioned you have 4 Metal Fab trucks now, but you had purchased 5, wasn't it?
No, we just done the 4. We had done the 05.
Just the 4. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the 05, the 2012, the 2014, and then the snorkel.
Yes, yeah.
If I had more money, I would. Don't worry.
Exactly. I guess that's all I had for today, Corey. Anything else you would like to add in closing? Or?
So for us, we just really appreciate the relationship with Metal Fab. Being able to pick up the phone and make a phone call, whether it's related to a sale or not. Just to be able to have that conversation like you're calling up, somebody you can trust on a day-to-day basis is huge for us. We really appreciate that relationship that we've had I've had personally for 10 plus years. I know we've had it in this department since probably 2004. So for us, that's pretty important, and we really value that relationship. And we also like the no pressure sales tactics that we've seen with other vendors out there in the fire equipment world. That it's all about the sale and not so much with the long-term relationship. So we do thank you very much for that relationship, and we obviously hope and plan to continue that in the future.
Yeah, well, no, that's extremely greatly appreciated. Well, I thank you for speaking with me, and we'll be in touch shortly, I'm sure.
Perfect. Thanks, Ryan. Enjoy your evening.
Okay, thank you.